one other agenda item whenever we get around to it.
Okay, go ahead.
A lot of actions that are going on, and the rent for the space and all of that stuff needs money, and we don't have it. And so finance had our first meeting tonight where we're trying to come up with some strategies to get us some money. And one of the suggestions that was made tonight was that we try to get the email list and do an email blast to everybody asking them to give us something. And so we're going to work with that, but we wanted to talk to spokes and we want to talk to GA about it and see, take input from people before we get too far down the road.
I'm glad. I came across, this is about for financial. I believe everything should be transparent and everything, and I believe people might have problems of giving, people that can give whatever they can, you know, problems because they remember the last financial, not financial, you know, financial crisis of Occupy. Well, I came across, last week I was going through the thing, finding a folder for free therapy. I was going to have an RPG game going, like Dungeons and Dragons. And I came across the financial sheets of Occupy, the receipts and everything, what we don't spend. And honestly, I believe I overturn, I said as soon as I see a financial person, I will turn them over to them, just for this, don't let this happen again. There were receipts for, you'll see. We spent, it was $3,000, everyone knows about the t-shirts, you know? They're from Cincinnati, Ohio, where I'm from. Buttons, $350, and there was another word, phone minutes. There were all this, then $1 from the Dollar Tree. You know, and they have these receipts like a staple saying, oh, but this 200 something for a generator, and this and this and this, but all the receipts was there was something, no generator sheet. And I believe that maybe making that transparent, maybe saying this will not happen again. I mean, will help also bring more. Yeah, because everyone knows the spending was whatever. I believe in, if we put it flat out, like this is unacceptable, unexcusable, you know, it won't happen again. I believe if, you know, people will gain faith in, you know, doing, you know, having more financial by putting it out there instead of being in the midst.
Well, part of
fundraising would benefit if there was more responsible. I think that, is that the tie? Because he's talking about raising money, and you're talking about spending money, and they go together.
No, because I mean, I'm not saying
we have a bad
I'm
reputation
sorry,
for spending
we were
it.
targeting finance about revenue generation.
So one of the reasons this is being brought up now is that we finally do have Friends of Occupy Portland, which is a group that we can direct people to send their money to. And then any money that goes into Friends of Occupy Portland will be totally audited.
Yeah, oh, I wasn't.
And it will be publicly, all receipts will be publicly online.
Yeah, all I'm just saying is if I hear this out, somehow making it, because people are still probably, you know, oh, what happened to them, you know, just to sort that out, just say, hey, look at this is a fucking, excuse my language, was a travesty right here, this is a new group, this is Friends of Occupy, and this will not happen. Like, you know, like, I
Okay,
get,
so that needs to go
you know,
in.
I'm just saying making it more transparent and making people, you know what I'm saying, people that can't donate, that's worried about donating, say, hey, at least they tell them the truth there, you know, they let this happen. Or,
no,
you know,
I'm not sure how
it's
much.
not big though,
We're soliciting how much we want to.
Well, just saying though,
Yeah.
this is.
Oh, no, it's not that much in there. It's
People know already, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
yeah, people already know already.
You can
Right,
allude
it's
to
a
the
new
release
organization,
that
it'll be in the email, it'll be obvious that it is a
Yeah, it's like,
501c4?
be honest, it's like,
So nobody
it's
can get a
only,
tax write-off.
You don't get a tax write-off.
And what about?
it's like
They don't get
7,000.
tax
It's like, it wasn't like it's like thousands.
No, I don't know
it's
how much
7,000.
money people make, but if you really do the accounting on it, for most people, the tax write-off is 15 cents on the dollar, which isn't a whole lot. And a lot of people who would be making donations don't itemize anyway, so.
But I think the reason
Yeah,
and
that
you don't
they
get the money
wanted
back
us
because
to
you
have a
spent.
501c4 before they made a donation was procedural, you know, so it's not just tax write-off. They wanted a number.
Yeah.
I asked one time for a donation. I asked them to give us a discount or whatever for the vigil. And they said, what's your tax number? And we didn't have it. I tried to explain that there was volunteers doing work of their own volition, and they don't even understand that without having a nonprofit going on.
They're
It's really-
drones.
Yeah, so if we're in a position to be able to say, can we have this donation by using Friends of Occupy Portland, then that also has to be, somehow people have to decide, when do we get to use that? And-
Yeah, no, and that's exactly right. That's why we're bringing this idea forward.
So in
'Cause
email,
we have to decide and occupy, and Friends, the board has to decide whether or not they're going to authorize us to use their information.
yeah, and email would include perhaps rent, because that's a button, right? Rent is something that we desperately need to keep going just for the time being. And then you have also physical donations and needs, and, you know, using that tax ID number, that we would accept that. If we can accept that, I think they should both be direct donations. If you can offer that tax ID number, even though it's not, you know, tax deductible, I think it's a procedural thing for a company to be able to say we're donating, they have to have that number.
Yes, and it's not only that, but if we do not use the corporation, then the only way we can get money in is for people to give money to individuals. And then there's that entire custody of, you know, a line of custody of the money that gets to be very iffy. And so, you know, this is, I think we're
Use the
going down
tax
the right
ID
path.
number for like the individuals, so that's great, but then you need to account for all money, it's just around, be able to show people transparent, yeah, you made a donation out here on the street, or this is what I want. And
Is that
just be
true?
transparent.
Can I do that right now?
Well, I think we have to go to steps now.
Yeah, right now, we're probably a little tough. We have the buttons, and so right now, the extent of our record keeping is we have our credit, we have a checking account, and we've now drained that account at direction of the board, but we've done that, and then we have some accounting of all of the things that happened until about 2 months ago, and, you know, we haven't had much happen since then. But when we do finally do this, we're going to have, as part of the reporting for FOP, is we will have basically every transaction that we take and every donation that we get. I'm not sure whether or not there will be a, you know, let's say that we got $5,000 from Bill Gates. I don't know if I'm going to print that.
No, donations are supposed to be made on. That's supposed to be.
Anyway, so,
Yeah.
but we will have, anything we spend money on, we will identify.
People have not come to GA, they have not come to Spokes. I think we should vote on it. I think we should be able to say right now that that's okay or not.
Where's the money going for the buttons on the website? Didn't look at the website.
The buttons go to WePay accounts, and,
So we paid for the so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
of course.
thing.
Yeah.
And what I do is, originally CIS was the one who were looking at the books. CIS is having problems. That was, we took it to Spoke, we took it to GA, was that they would manage to look out for that. But now, there's an autonomy with the vigil that had been created. So what I do is, before I spend money from that, I just get buy off of as many people as I can right there.
Yeah.
That's all I can do.
Yeah, I know you're part of the financial community, but do we actually have a storage for things that's donated that we don't, I mean, is there actually still a storage or storage spaces that's, do anybody know?
I'm renting a storage facility for food and garden and for medical, and that's
Okay.
all that's in there.
Okay.
I'm not getting compensated, that's just as a side issue, but yeah, there is.
Because I say, I
And
mean,
other groups may be doing the same. So.
okay, yeah, because that's what I say.
Just in the, yeah, those, a lot of stuff in camp, that's still there.
I got stolen.
Different places. Stolen.
Oh, I just said, I'm
Well, but that's.
It's not being utilized, we serve that stolen.
So I think we need to work on planning some kind of another open house or something for fundraising and bringing people in.
you know, I like that idea too. That's going to be probably more than, so we just started floating ideas tonight, but this is the one that seemed to have the most traction. James was there as a member, and Brian was like, what?
Oh, no, best day to do it on the 4th. I'm just telling you that. On the 4th or the 5th, because the people that get social security or get some kind of assistance to get, and people to get paid the first, or the, the first and the 15th of the month. Best day, I'm telling you, is the 4th. Trust and believe. It's like the 4th, when everyone, so that's probably the best way. If you have an open house or something, everyone feels welcome. Oh, I got something. It's just, that's the best day, probably be the 4th. I mean, when it comes to people.
What was your measure about that?
I'm sorry.
Email.
Just an email campaign.
Email.
What we're hoping is that would have enough response that we would be able to fund. You know, we're thinking that in terms of the amount of money that's being spent for the rent and things like Brian's renting the storage space.
I'm not asking to be reimbursed, but yeah.
Well, I understand, but I mean, other people are self-funding their actions. And, you know, a lot of us can't really afford to self-fund our actions. If we have another opportunity, if the group can help them, or people who are not actively involved in it can help us, then why not? I mean, it can help us be more effective and expand what we're doing.
It should be possible for the Friends of Occupy, the whole idea of being there is to fund, be able to provide to like a big event that Occupy wants to do, like a party in the park or whatever, instead of having to go to everybody individually, hey, can you pass a can around?
Tell them what
The
that
whole
is.
idea of that existence of that organization is to create that reason. That's why we spend months creating it.
Yeah, because it's kind of like church.
Someone from the size of the group or something.
I'm Unitarian, we
Kinda
do
like church.
2%.
I mean, it's nothing wrong with it, but it's kind of like church, and you know how that feel is when you don't,
So I just wanted to make an announcement in line of getting the organization, the nonprofit up and running. Last week introduced the bylaws to the spokes committee. Put that online on portlandgeneraalassembly.org. There's a group there, Friends of Occupy Portland.